You'll adapt desirable habits and behaviors from the people you associate with most. On the flip side, you can adapt undesirable habits and behaviors from the people you associate with most. Changing the people you associate with is the last of the three applications of the principle of correspondence that we'll be going over. To a lot of you, this is nothing new. Since we were young, if we had parents or adults in our lives that cared, we were guided to choose our friends carefully, even not to talk to strangers. This may be perhaps the most pertinent information one can receive in their youth. This recommendation is something that is universal and applies at any point in our lives, at any age, at any time. So, William Clement Stone, he was an American businessman, philanthropist, and New Thought self help book author. He said, "You are a product of your environment, so choose the environment that will best develop you towards your objective. Analyze your life in terms of its environment and ask yourself, are the things around you helping you towards success, or are they holding you back?" Next, he said, be careful the environment you choose, for it will shape you. Um, and be careful of the friends that you choose, for you will become like them. So, as you can see, this step is very similar to the step we talked about before about your external environment, because the people that you associate with the most of the time are in your external environment. So, um, there's some differences though. Adjusting your external environment and changing your social group require different ways of handling it. So, changing your own habits is something that you are in full control of. If you want to change a habit, you can. If you want to eat clean, you can control that. I'm saying if you want to relocate, you can do that. So, you can't control how other people react, though. And you can never be fully in control when it comes to changing your associates as far as their reaction. So, for example, let's say you work at a workplace with your coworkers. When you go to work, you have to see your coworkers. There's really no way around it. Likewise, you may have some friends or family that are close to you. So when it comes time to change the dynamic of your relationship, it may it may feel difficult because of your history or their place in your life. Like y'all might just always be at the same places or whatever the case. I don't know your exact situation, but like I said before, it's just that when you're changing your external environment, like just for yourself, you only have to take in consideration the impact of your emotions and your mental state. When others are involved, they'll be affected by these changes. So, and unfortunately, you can't control that. So sometimes making these changes is easy as just cut someone off or distancing yourself from them. Otherwise, you may have to use tact. And if not done properly, there can be dire consequences that arise from changes in your social circle. So, how can you deal with each situation involving adjusting your circle? Um, who the person is, where you want them in your circle, if you want them in there at all, their personalities. All of these are factors in the strategy used for adjusting your circle. So the first part of any job you apply for is the application, and that usually involves an interview. So in the interview, the employer's objective is to gauge the characteristics, the abilities, and other factors to decide if the individual is a good fit for the company. So your circle is no different and should be handled the same way. So the first step is evaluation. So and I would even add this, it's more of a vibrational thing. It's not even all about necessarily the words that exchanged or any of that. Just the vibe that you get from a person, you know what I'm saying? Because words can be exchanged, even actions can be seen, but the vibe that you feel around a person will tell you a lot more than any of the things that we can talk about or observe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sharing this information, but at the end of the day, if you get a good vibe about a person, cool. If you get a bad vibe about a person, then you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So gauge it accordingly. Everybody discernment is different, but you know what I'm saying? And there's been plenty of times probably in your life where you felt something was off, but because you let a relationship move forward, you end up finding out the hard way. Or likewise, you know what I'm saying? You might have felt something was good, and you might have sabotaged it. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe some I don't know, it's something going on with you. You know what I'm saying? So in the evaluation, you'll want to find out about the prospects' goals, what they are, how far along they are in achieving them, and if you're able to work together for the accomplishment of them. So, like I said, this is not an interrogation, though, so keep it as natural as possible. We don't want the person we're thinking about working with to feel like there's some suspect in a crime or they're being interrogated. You know what I'm saying? Spread the evaluation questions out so it's natural. You know what I'm saying? This will also highlight where your own shortcomings are as well, and the clarity that you have on where you're going. You know what I'm saying? What how far are you along in your goals? Like, what are your metrics? And are you in a position to assist somebody else in their journey? You know what I'm saying? So similarly, if you may um, right, you're also being interviewed as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, this isn't necessarily a one-way street. That person is also filling you out, filling your vibe to see where you are. So this isn't just, you know what I'm saying? Everything that I'm talking about concerning mental alchemy should first be applied to you. You know what I'm saying? So before you expect it out of anybody else. So be on the lookout for answers that don't align with what they're telling you. For example, if a person tells you what their goals are and they're able to share them with you, but they can't really tell you how they plan to achieve those goals, then they may be, you know, not as sincere as they say they are. Um, so look for the corresponding actions with the words. And if they say they want to do something but show you otherwise, then you know that they really don't mean, what they're saying, and they're not necessarily reliable or are able to keep their word. So if he or she are putting themselves in environments or situations that are not motivating or conductive to productivity, um, that's a sign. So after this evaluation, if you recognize that your friend does not keep their goals or want to make a better life for themselves, then there are two options at this point. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's all a vibe. Somebody may be just starting off in their journey, but they're sincere about it. You know what I'm saying? And there's somebody may be farther along. So like I said, this is just kind of like a template. This is not like some set in stone thing that I'm sharing. You know what I'm saying? Like, adjust it to however your life is. Take what's useful from this, and whatever is not useful, leave it. So right, if they're putting themselves in environments or situations that are not motivating or conducive to productivity, like I said, that's a sign. And then after this evaluation, if you recognize that your friend or your associate does not necessarily keep to their goals, or they're making a better life for themselves, then you have two options at this point. You can use your discernment to determine if this person should be a part of your life or not. And if you are going to keep them a part of your life, then the interaction that you have with them um, should be significantly increased or reduced. So remember, we are, like I said before, we're products of our environment, and the more time we spend around a person, the more we tend to adapt their patterns and behavior. So additionally, for you, it's going to make it harder for you to achieve your goals, especially if you're in the beginning stages. If the person that you're associating with is not even trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I respect effort over anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, effort, and I'm not saying effort is everything, but seeing somebody try to change their life and constantly making that, like, that says volumes over somebody just telling you what they're going to do. So not everyone you associate with needs or want what you want. So everybody is not you, and do not need to necessarily desire this super successful life like in the same way that you look at it. So, however, with that being said, if these associates, friends, family, whoever they are, if they're draining you, then you need to cut them out of your life altogether. So, it's one thing to do you, and it's a whole nother thing to be brought down while they're doing them. You know what I'm saying? So, whether they're time wasters or you find yourself wasting money or they're just consistently negative or pessimistic, know what I'm saying? So then you need to cut that. So the next thing that we're talking about is the different type of people and the way to e- evaluate the different personality types. So the first type we're going to talk about is the person that is really emotional and they express themselves very emotionally. So we all have emotions. You know what I'm saying? Having and expressing our emotions is not an issue. But having no goals and not getting after anything, it is an issue. You know, if you have someone whose emotions are up and down all the time when you're around them and they're constantly trying to bring you down to a low vibrational level of emotion, then you need to get from around that. Um, these are the people that get into their emotions and they start gossiping, slandering, always trying to get back at somebody, full of drama, or they're unforgiving and always holding grudges. So, because they are emotional, it's best to take a more tactical approach when cutting them off. We want to avoid the drama as much as possible. However, if it does show up, we're ready and willing to handle it. You know what I'm saying? We're not avoiding confrontation. You know what I'm saying? We're just using tact and diplomacy. So basically, what I'm saying is, don't just say, "Yo, I don't want to fuck with you no more." I mean, if you, hey, look, if you have to, then do that. Like I've done it. Like literally, like not too long ago, a few times. In different ways. You know what I'm saying? And it was in different ways with different people. Like some of them, I didn't say it like that. To one situation in particular, actually two situations in particular, I said it just like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then in another situation, it wasn't so harsh. You know what I'm saying? Because this person wasn't necessarily negative or like necessarily bring me down, but you know what I'm saying? Like we just weren't on the same page, anymore. We're not necessarily going in the same direction. And not saying that you always need to be necessarily going in the same direction, but it's like you can tell when the vibe is just not there. You know what I'm saying? So you want to disassociate yourself with this emotional type of person slowly to avoid like detection or any emotional outbursts. Saying so, this reduction applies to all interaction, whether that be in person or non-face-to-face interaction. Reduce the amount of time talking to them, messaging them, hanging out. If you talk or you used to hang out every day, reduce that a day at a time. If you have to cut a conversation off, you know what I'm saying, that's going left, do so in a manner where you explain that you have something else to do. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced that with a few people. I just had to, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Because the conversation just, it, it it was mainly filled with complaints, or mainly filled with just this person telling me about a situation, but they're not really wanting to change it. So I'm just kind of like, I'm wasting my time. I'm not gonna keep you called me, especially if they call you for advice and then you give them advice, but they're telling you I'm not going to change, and it's just like I'm not going to waste my time anymore. Then, so um, and you're not lying. You know what I'm saying? Like you really do have better things to do, or you should. So if they ask you what you're doing, it's okay to even tell them, like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying, if that person is worth sharing that with. You know what I'm saying? So maybe in the future they can assist you. Um, and if you know they won't be able to help you in the future, then continue with that reduction. You know what I'm saying? After a while, they should kind of get the hint, and you can move forward without them. And don't worry about them either. You know what I'm saying? Because this can be something too. You can feel bad. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, like you'll feel bad, kind of like, dang man, I just kind of, I known this person for years. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't really want to be around that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you may feel some type of way about this, but what's more important? You know what I mean? You transmuting your current state to a desirable one and having an environment which includes people in it that are conductive to that desirable state. You know what I'm saying? Also, the person that you're reducing the time with, they may feel some type of way as well, but it's okay. The principle of rhythm is in effect here. Life has ebbs and flows. Same thing with people. Some people will move out, some people will come in, some people will stay, some people will go. Like it's the ebbs and flows of life. You know what I'm saying? So, um, if the person is indeed a low vibrational at a lower vibration, I'm not gonna say low vibrational because vibrational is uh vibration is so it has different degrees. You know what I'm saying? So um, a lower vibration to one person may be a higher one to someone else. You know what I'm saying? So you pulling away from them has a benefit as well, though. However, they will grow in strength and resilience from learning to be more independent. You know what I'm saying? And maybe y'all can link up later down the line. You know what I'm saying? So looking at it that way is a good way to reframe the situation so you won't feel so bad about it. You know what I mean, one thing to remember is that if your friend is emotional, so it may take them a little while longer than the other types that we're going to talk about to process the loss. You know what I'm saying? So it is the hard times in life that we learn the most lessons. I can speak on that from experience. So for you, it was leaving this friend, and for the friend, it was them getting left. You both go through this, so it's not just kind of like a one-sided thing, depending on the person. So next, we're going to move on to the friend, associate, family member, whoever it is that is indifferent or not really sure about the whole situation. So the indifferent one is what we'll call them. This friend is not emotional like the last one, and while they may feel some type of way about knowing that you guys aren't, you know what I'm saying, moving in the same direction anymore, they don't really care so much about that. They don't really care so much about the reduced time that y'all spend together. They don't really care. In fact, they might just be upset that you beat them to the punch. You know what I mean? This person would actually be glad to break ties with you and may have felt that way for a while, and you were just kind of like the catalyst for change. So these kind, like I said, are not emotional. They're not going to throw a fit when you break the news to them. You could just let them know straight up, you know, or let them down easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking on all of this from experience. So I think the direct approach is the best. You know what I mean? Because it leaves no room for guessing, and you won't waste anyone's time. You know what I'm saying? Like their time is just as much as valuable as yours. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they can go link up with somebody who is on that same road that they on. You know what I mean? So let them know that you have goals you need to focus on. Also let them know if they don't, do have any ideas that could just assist you in your journey, to let you know. Like I said, you guys may link up about something, later on. Other than that, you don't have time to hang out. And there's another way, of course, to do this. And I recommend this situation if this relationship is beyond repair and you both know that, you could just ghost them. You know what I mean? Ghosting means to cut someone off without explanation. You know what I mean? No closure, no conversations, no need to meet up and talk, none of that. You know what I mean? Just a complete cord cutting. And I highly suggest this for anyone who is getting out of a relationship. Um, except for there being necessary contact, and I mean like absolutely necessary. Like maybe you guys names are on something and something that need to be dealt with for y'all to deal with that. Maybe y'all got kids, whatever the situation is. There are some situations that call that y'all need to communicate, right? So the other party should get the hint when you don't respond to calls or messages, that you would rather not talk to them. So next we have the friend, associate, family member, or whatever, uh, that you physically can't get away from. Meaning, you guys will at some point end up in the same place at the same time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's inevitable. So although I do think you can do anything that you need to do, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say, for whatever reason, you have to be in close proximity with this person, whether that's in person or through communication. This may be somebody in the same circle as you, social circle as you, maybe in your family, maybe in your job, your church, your group, work, whatever. A direct altercation with this person would not be necessarily the best approach for you or the group. And this is not to say that you should avoid confrontation. Like, I'm not talking about just letting somebody just walk all over you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying you want to be tactful. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, you can't really ghost them because, like I said, you got to see them all the time. So the direct approach is not necessarily plausible because it would just cause static. The suggestion here is similar to that of the emotional person. It's just to just reduce the amount of time spent with them in particular. However, if it's something major and you think that they're like toxic to the organization of a whole or group or whatever, then yeah, I mean, you might even want to get other people together, let them know that, hey, this is going, which most of the time everybody will already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had a situation, a friend of a family friend, you know what I'm saying, that we pretty much have all avoided. You know what I mean? For pretty much the same reason. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't, like I said, you don't need that negativity. If it's a waste of time, if it may be somebody who's just lazy, that will rub off on you. So reduce that time.